that'll treat you good. That'll give you all the things a good man should.
The Right Place with Kevin Sport is sponsored by Conecuh Sausage. Get your grill on. Mossy Pond Retrievers. Take me home to Mossy Pond. Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. It is college done right. Frog Talk. Whatever you do, there's a Frog Talk suit for you. Alaga syrup. Over 100 years and still sweet. The Right Place with Kevin Sport.
Spur's Big Fix Wound, Skin, and Hoof is an all-inclusive topical antiseptic spray that is simple and effective. It's all natural, made in the USA, and comes with a money-back guarantee. Use Spur's Big Fix to treat cuts, scrapes, wounds, rain rot, and other fungal issues. Spur's Big Fix treats thrush and white line disease while conditioning and restoring flexibility in the hoof. Spur's Big Fix. The more you use it, the more you'll love it.
Oh, yeah. Look at there, boys. Now that's country.
Yeah, we raised her to follow her dreams, but that doesn't mean you have to leave your roots behind. Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College in Tifton, Georgia. It is college done right.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Sport, host of The Right Place. I'm always saying I don't get my grill on without Conecuh Sausage, the best sausage ever. From the minute you put it on, you can smell that flavor. Since 1947, the fine folks down in Evergreen, Alabama have been making Conecuh sausage. Next time you're headed down I-65, why don't you stop off and visit their gift shop? Try Conecuh sausage today. I don't get my grill on without it. It's just a little taste of heaven. Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Sport. Welcome to The Right Place. You know I love performing, but probably one of the most important performances I'm going to give is trying to be a good dad. You know, our families are important to us, and if you're like me, you may have kids in your family that are on the verge of making that first big decision on which direction they're going to head off in. Do you remember when you made that decision? And maybe it took a few times to get it right. And if that's the case, you're going to be jealous of the guests that we have on our show today. Because Kris Caldwell was born into it. Music is not about just making a living with Kris. Music is about making the living of life better. You see, Kris was born in blues music. And no other genre paints a picture of pain and pleasure better than the blues. Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Sport. Welcome to The Right Place. Kris Caldwell, my friend, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having
the show.
me.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah, I look forward to you coming on. Thanks. I look forward to everyone. I say this all the time, but it's true. Every guest we have on, we soak it up, man. We just soak it up. We have as much fun as we possibly can.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
And plus, this gives me a chance to ask all the questions and bug you a little bit, maybe not.
Shoot, man.
First of all, I want to say it was nice the way I had a chance to meet you, and it was playing music. For our viewers, and let me introduce this guy to you. He is a incredibly great guitar player, very gifted.
Thank you, man.
Singer, songwriter. Just to get everybody else caught up before I get into some really neat stuff. Where'd your journey start?
Well, I come from a little farm in Hamel, Arkansas. Grew up in northeast Arkansas, a couple of different towns, and started spending a little time when I was around 12 years old down in Greenwood, Mississippi, and it's pretty much an epicenter for blues music and American roots music. My mother lives in northeast Arkansas. Hey, Mom, how you doing? My dad lives in Columbus, Mississippi now, but at that time he was over in the Delta, and it was just I would get on a bus on a Friday after school and head down to Greenwood on a Greyhound and play blues all weekend and do the honky-tonk thing, and then come home, and you know, it was a pretty fun way to grow up. It was a great way to grow up.
When did you start playing the guitar?
I come from a really musical family. My mother's side of the family, they're all grassers. I'm sort of the black sheep of my bluegrass family, and that's what I get told. And it's fun because when my grandpa wanted me to learn Bill Monroe, I love Bill Monroe, and I have recently delved back into the bluegrass world somewhat. But when he wanted me to learn Bill Monroe, for some reason I wanted B.B. King, and so now after the journey's been going for about 22 years, I love both. I like to play blues and bluegrass, and I just think it's all, Johnny Cash said there's only two kinds of music, good and bad, and I agree with that a lot.
I agree too. Well, you're making some good music. Do you remember your first time that you came to Nashville?
The first time that I traveled to Nashville, came over here with a buddy of mine, and we just came to check out the music here in town, and I ended up in a place, this was 99, I believe.
Okay.
I ended up in a place there's a parking lot there now. It's called Tebow's Tavern over off of 4th Avenue. And it was the only place I could get into because I was a little underage. Tebow's isn't around anymore, so I guess I'm okay saying that. So I got up, and I've always been that guy that I don't like standing back by the pool table, or and while there's a band on stage, I itch. I want to get up there and play. So I was young, new to town, or I hadn't never even been to town, and I got up and I sat in with a fellow named Kenneth Wright, great blues guy here in town, and he let me do a song. And when I was done with that tune, I got off stage, and one of the bartenders asked me if I'd come play in her band, and I'm from somewhere else, and I just got offered a gig in Nashville, so loaded up my friend's car and moved over here. Didn't have a car, didn't have anything, and of course when I got here, they had already moved back home, so there was no gig, and that's what started it.
Yeah, wow, that's
I fell in love with the place instantly.
Yeah. Did you spend time in Memphis?
Yeah, growing up, the bus station on Union Street there in Memphis, it actually used to be on Union Street in Memphis, not far from Beale Street.
Right.
So I'd have a little bit of a layover, so sometimes I'd go down to Beale Street and hang, and then when I got old enough to drive a car, I was going to high school in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and it's about 45 minutes from Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
So I would go to Memphis. My brother and I, he's about 6 years younger than me, so I was 16 and he was 12, and we'd hop in the car and drive to Beale Street and sit there all night, and just kids, we couldn't get in anywhere, but there's blues everywhere there.
Oh,
It's a lot different now, but back then it was gritty and fun, not a place for kids at all, but we were there and it was fun.
Well, what's your take on the difference between Memphis and Nashville?
Wow, both two great music cities. Memphis is that place where the blues had to go through to get to St. Louis and Chicago.
True.
And Nashville is that place where bluegrass had to go through to get to the blues that came out of the Delta, and it all just swirled around right here. And so I think between those two cities, it's American roots music. Everything we hear today is based on the collaboration from these two cities.
Blues, gospel, bluegrass, country, Memphis, Nashville. Good music is good music, and good music has something to say. When we come back, you'll hear what Kris Caldwell's music has to say.
Oh, yeah. Look at there, boys. Now that's country.
Yeah, we raised her to follow her dreams, but that doesn't mean you have to leave your roots behind. Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College in Tifton, Georgia. It is college done right.
Hi, welcome back to The Right Place. Today I'm talking with Kris Caldwell, whose love for music extends to the message. I asked him a question about this. Your bio, I like, by the way.
Thank you.
For those of you who'd like to go check out Kris Caldwell's bio, you can do that. You can go look him up and check it out. You have this as one of your first quotes. It says, an artist who has a complete disregard for the status quo.
Oh yeah.
I wanted you to tell me what you meant by that.
Well, I think at times artists and people who create music and produce it and put it out to the world for it to hear get caught up in what is and what's going on right now. What's the thing we're supposed to do? It's art. We're not supposed to do anything but what we feel, you know. So I think it's our job as artists to take the collective human experience and condition and reflect it back, and so that people feel represented by it. Not necessarily to do what is cool to do right now. That's what I meant by that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you led right into the other quote that I have. You said a responsibility to the idea that music can be used to better the collective human condition.
Absolutely. That's what it's for.
That's strong.
That's what it's for.
That is strong. Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah, well, your music certainly does that. Moving, I'm going to touch on something.
Sure.
And I know when I say it, there's a lot that's going to come in your head. But the first time I heard the word Mudbone,
Absolutely.
I thought, hey, that's neat. Mudbone, that gets your attention.
It does.
And then you were explaining to us a little bit about it, you know, a couple of years ago on the tour bus.
Right.
And then I know that it's progressed. So what does Mudbone mean? And tell our viewers, what is it?
It's that person whose responsibility it is to see into the future of what music could be, but still keep it true to what it has come from. And that's I guess the technical meaning of the term. And it comes from a book that I'm writing now. It's a fella in John Howard Brown. We'll see him later tonight.
Yeah, sure will.
We're collaborating on this project, and it's basically a story of how the music we hear today has become the music we hear today. It's a 300-year journey through history. It tells the tale of how music came about through the eyes of fictional character, but the events are all historically accurate. But it goes through about 7 different characters over the period of 300 years that go through all of the events that have made music what it is today. So that's the story.
Wow, man.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you should be.
It has to do with that collaboration between Memphis and Nashville and the blues and bluegrass, and because it happened that way. It came through the South through blues, and the first incarnation of blues in America was known as ring shout, and we know them as gospel chants now, and they're not. They were systems of communication on plantations at a time when there wasn't Twitter or even a Pony Express. It was a way for the slaves on the farm to communicate with each other, and it was all based on the Gospels lyrically. They were all based on the Gospels, but it was a form of communication. That was the first form of blues in America, and it progressed into blues, and the Delta blues then went to St. Louis and Memphis and Chicago, and then it progressed from there. And the same thing happened to bluegrass music. It came from Ireland, then it filtered through the Appalachian Mountains, and it made its way down here to Tennessee and turned into country music. And then 2 hours down the road, 2.5 hours, depends on how fast you're driving, is Memphis, and that's the blues world. And here we are, the country world. And I think Nashville's changing a lot. It's not country town anymore. It's everything's here, and I think Memphis has a lot to do with that for sure.
Yeah.
Historically.
Yeah. What was it inside of you that found this?
Man, it's the craziest thing. Growing up in the Delta, one of the fellas that taught me to play guitar, he told me one day, he said, I'm not going to give you a blues nickname. You need a blues name, but I'm not going to give you one. Somebody one day will give you one, and it'll all make sense to you. So I'm like, all right, cool. So all these years go by, and I'm waiting on my nickname, and it just never happens, So I guess I give up on it or whatever. And then while we were out on the road, a fella named Michael C. Steele, very, very talented bass player.
Yes, he is.
We were out. I was working with the lighting guy. I was sitting on stage helping him with his focus and his spots. And I was playing resonator guitar and doing some blues stuff. And he walked by me and Michael said, "You need a blues name." And he said, "We'll call you Mudbone." And I don't know, it was like an explosion of everything in my head. It all made sense, and that's what happened. So
I did not know that.
yeah,
I missed that. I must have been sleeping.
Must have been.
Or trying to get some footage somewhere. I don't know.
Probably because I was snoring in the bunk above you all the night before.
That's neat. Okay, so obviously you have a love for history too.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, and I think we all do. Well, I would imagine most people in this business on some level has an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
If you're going to be working in this crazy world we're in.
Absolutely. You got to know where it's been.
Yeah, you really do. You have to know where you've been before you can move forward, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you, and I know you've come in contact, you've been performing all your life, what would you tell somebody that you had 3 or 4 minutes with, and it was one of those situations where it was, you know, a pretty sincere moment, and you had a chance to say something to encourage them in their journey, just something encouraging. What have you learned so far in your life?
It sounds cliche, but just don't give up on it. It's simple. The more you strive for it, the more you know you're not going to be able to reach it instantly, and it gets kicked down the road, and then that's your path. So even though it seems like it's not working out, it's working out. Been a lot of times that I've thought it wasn't working out, but it's worked out. So
Yeah.
that's what the path is.
That's it, man. I agree. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to come
Thanks for
on.
having me.
Thanks for being in the right place.
Yeah, thank you.
Kris is a talented musician with a really cool style. And when we come back, you'll get to see his live performance at Puckett's Grocery right here in Columbia, Tennessee. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Sport, host of The Right Place. I'm always saying I don't get my grill on without Conecuh sausage, the best sausage ever. From the minute you put it on, you can smell that flavor. Since 1947, the fine folks down in Evergreen, Alabama have been making Conecuh sausage. Next time you're headed down I-65, why don't you stop off and visit their gift shop? Try Conecuh sausage today. I don't get my grill on without it. It's just a little taste of heaven.
Folks say you're supposed to write songs about stuff that you lived or you've learned or you've done. Being a true child of the South, like my friend Hound Brown over here.
Amen.
I like to try to prove folks wrong whenever I can. So I don't know. I decided to pick a subject one day a long time ago, before back when I was still waiting tables and doing all that stuff. And so I wrote a song about success to try to prove everyone wrong on that point. Come a long way from a mule and a plow. We got 400 acres and 200 cows and a farm all fit with a TV so I can watch the news. Pick things off in a dirt floor shack now with 6 bedrooms and a pool out back. We got by, but not before I'll share a blue. We got by the driving rain, made it to a brighter day, and along the way we learned the things we thought we knew. We got by, but not before our share of blue. Spent 6 years setting Memphis AAA. I swung that bat for the birds every day. Every time the phone would ring, it was somebody else's dream come true. The singles up the middle and doubles off the wall. For 25 years means you make it to the hall. Now this gold jacket feels real nice. Give a Hall of Famer his due.
I got by the pouring rain, made it to a better day. And along the way I learned the things I thought I knew. I got by, but not before my share of blues. The more we face the music, the more we learn to dance. There's romance in the struggle, struggle in romance. It was a hot, long day when I came home from work and noticed that baby bump peeking out your shirt. It hit me right there where I stood. What would we do? Now the kids are all grown and her hairs are all white. I can't thank you and the Lord enough at night for a family that'll keep on rolling long after we're through. And they'll get by the pouring rain, make it to a brighter day. Along the way they'll learn the things they thought they knew. They'll get by, but not before their share of blues. They all get by, but not before our share of blues. Thank y'all. This is a song about some rope. Give a man a little rope and he'll hang himself high. That's what Papa told me. Watching that preacher taking off his tie and going crazy, raging, acting a fool. The whole town in Jesus, watching him losing his cool. He had been caught cheating, lying and thieving, the whole time preaching the word of the Lord. The whole time preaching the word. Give a man a little rope, he was scheming when he first come around. Take the offering, fill the coffers, roll on out of town. But temptation come a-creeping, started sleeping with the wife of a deacon. The whole time screaming the name of the Lord. The whole time screaming the name. Give a man a little rope, deacon started preaching at the Wednesday night meeting. Took to believing he was called by the Lord. They started wondering where the funds went, thought to check it out. Figured out the dealings, started gathering the flock all around him. Then they found him up against the wall. The whole congregation caught him right back there in the fellowship hall. And all the blame, and I heard him saying, hang him for shame in the name of the Lord. Hang him for shame in his name. Give a man a little rope, and they did, in a cottonwood tree. Down in Cooley's Holler, behind a graveyard, before the ball gets deep. They were quoting them verses, praying and cursing, begging for mercy in the name of the Lord. Begging for mercy in the name. Give a man a little rope one more time when they laid him down low, tied around the coffin while they dropped him into the ground below. The old deacon threw the rope and the dirt in the hole. He spit on the grave while he prayed for the soul. He spit on the grave while he prayed. Give a man a little rope and he'll hang himself high. That's what the deacon said, watching that preacher in his new necktie start swinging.
Thank y'all.
Kris Caldwell's love for music and his respect for its power really struck me. And you don't have to be a musician to have an effect on other people. No matter what you're doing, I think we can all agree that we have the power to make this world a better place. Because when you're following your dream, your God-given dream, you're always in the right place.
But the faces in the mirror that make this town tonight. God knows if we don't try, there's no way